In the year 1985, a man by the name of Spencer Bowles made a startling discovery. Posting his thoughts to a Usenet group he frequented, that's a precursor to the internet, many like-minded folk emerged and unanimously sounded off that his fears were correct. You see, computers back then were not powerful. Like, really not powerful. One small way to save resources was storing the year as a two-digit number in programs. So 1985 became 85, 1986 became 86, and so on until 00. And that was a problem. When the year 2000 hit, the programs would read 00 and just assume it was 1900. That would have been enough to bring most programs in those days to a standstill. But there's a happy ending, because after 13 years of collective procrastination, Bill Clinton ordered programmers from all over to hug out their problems and work together to solve the issue once and for all. And they did. So, problem solved, right? All good? Peace in the Middle East? Not exactly. Imagine watching a suspenseful movie where you're so captivated and filled with questions that you just can't wait for the big finale. Then the protagonist wakes up in bed. And it was all a dream. And the movie ends. Huge letdown, right? The natural response is to avoid that film franchise like the plague. And for the general populace, that was Y2K. The letdown of nothing actually happening led the whole concept of a computer-related catastrophe into the realm of a long-winded joke. But not taking an issue seriously doesn't make it any less of a problem. Sooner or later, it has to be addressed. Like discovering there's a lion trapped in your closet. You can tell yourself that it's just a cat for as long as you want, but sooner or later you're going to need pants. Now, pants in this situation would be the continued functionality and existence of all modern infrastructure, while the lion, well, the lion's a clock. Sort of. So, computers store information in little individual chunks in a language called binary, that's zeros and ones. These zeros and ones are referred to as bits. So, on a 32-bit computer, these chunks are 32 zeros and ones long. If a chunk ever gets too big, it's usually just split into another one. Unless it can't be. Like your average person, a computer needs to be able to keep track of time. Its method of doing so is by counting up each individual second since the epoch, or epoch. That's midnight of January 1st, 1970. Now, those seconds really add up. At the time of recording this, 1.5 billion seconds have accumulated. Comparing that to the roughly 2 billion second cap, the problem becomes fairly clear. On January 19th of 2038 at 3:14 and 8 seconds, the number's just going to be too much. But hey, computers are real go-getters, so they're just going to keep trying to add those seconds. At that point, one of two things will happen. Depending on the computer, either it will immediately crash and refuse to turn back on, or the system clock will roll over to the lowest possible value, December 13th of 1901. Then crash and refuse to turn back on. But you might ask, how big of an impact will this really have on me? Well, you'll be just fine. If you don't mind losing your laptop. And phone. And TV and hospitals and public transportation and airlines and ATMs and really banks in general, and in some cases anti-lock braking systems, and the list goes on. And really, I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but we're the complete opposite of prepared. We're unprepared. Stopping this problem in its tracks would involve making sure every single computer in the world, big and small, is upgraded. Then going up to every software manufacturer in the world and saying, hey, stop what you're doing. You see all those things you already made? Yeah, you're gonna need to make those again. But better. Alright? Yeah. But that's just what we know now. The real next step is taking the first step. Solving a difficult problem isn't easy, but the solution will never make itself apparent unless you buckle down and take it seriously. But for real though, the Titanic is sinking and we need some lifeboats.